Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School. I'm at a normal location because we had some Wi-Fi stuff going on in the house, but we ended up making some adjustments, and so here I am doing the damn thing. I hope you guys are having a good day. I'll give you guys time to come into the live stream, and we're gonna have a good conversation. I want to say welcome. First of all, I want to say welcome to drboycetv.com. This is the home for intelligent Black people. So if you are not Black and intelligent, you may want to get the fuck out, because we're probably going to hurt your feelings, and we're going to have a conversation that is probably above your intellectual pay grade. So rather than us hurting your feelings and us having to fight, I told y'all I ain't fighting with no Negroes in 2019. I'd rather you just remove yourself so that I don't have to remove you, because you come in here talking crazy, you're going to be kicked out. Now, you won't be kicked out for disagreeing, but you will be kicked out from being silly and personal and ridiculous, because I'm too grown for that shit. So let's go. Let's get it popping. Shout out your city. Shout out your city. Please shout out your city. I want to say hello to everybody. I see Detroit in the house. What's going on? We actually decided the All Black National Convention will most likely be held in Detroit next year. Thanks to those who came to the All Black National Convention this year in Houston. Ask anybody, if you're in the chat and you came to the convention, please tell everybody how great it was. We literally had 100% customer satisfaction. We did a survey, and so far on the results, 100% of the people said they would come back next year. They felt the price was right. They felt the networking was amazing. It's an awesome experience. It will help you grow. They also said, most importantly, that the All Black National Convention actually improves, it gave them things that will improve their life. So we don't just want you to feel good, we want you to be good, but we want you to be good and feel good, right? Because part of the reason Black people ain't good is because we don't feel good about ourselves. So let me go in and just quickly, very quickly, within 20 seconds, I'm going to shout out some of your cities so we can pop into the conversation. Hood Take, what's going on? It wasn't a Cardi B movie. That was a Cardi. If she's in a damn movie and she's the headliner, it's a Cardi B motherfucking movie. Tony Lane, Fort Lauderdale. Big Walk, San Antonio. Carl Robinson, hey, what's going on? Stratford, Connecticut. Good evening, says M. Powell. How you doing, man? Thanks for moderating. Thank you, Kenneth Anthony Clark, as well, for holding it down, keeping the trolls on deck, or kicking them out. Let's see. Hood Take says it wasn't a Cardi. You keep saying it wasn't a Cardi B movie. Was Cardi B not in the movie Hustlers? Somebody give me a yes or no. Give me a yes or no. Was Cardi B in the movie Hustlers? Give me a yes or no. Give me a yes or no. I'm gonna look up the word Cardi B or the words Cardi B and Hustlers and say who are the stars of Hustlers? I don't know. Was Cardi B in the movie Hustlers? Let's get this shit clear right now. Let's make sure we get on the same page. We need to get on code together and make sure we're talking about the same shit. Are we in the same dimension of time and space where I heard about a movie called Hustlers where Cardi B was one of the headliners? I know they got J-Lo, and I know they got some white lady. I think it might have been Cameron Diaz or something. I don't know who it was. But and Lizzo with her big ass. I know that I saw a movie called Hustlers that had Cardi B in it. Okay, good. So we on the same page. Okay, yeah, there go. M. Powell says J-Lo was the protagonist, but Cardi B was the headliner. That's why they probably paid her millions of dollars to be associated with the project. She might not have been stripping, she might not have been the star, but she was definitely one of the people helping to sell the tickets. Let's just be clear about that. Her name was deeply associated with that film, and just because, you guys know I know business, and the thing about business is that if she associates her name with the film, they know that the film is going to sell more tickets. Now, first of all, I want to say this. Please hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please do that. I have not seen the film yet. I read a synopsis online, and I studied it and the concept of the film, which basically means at this point, I know as much about the film as most people do. Most people, in fact, let me ask you guys right now. Let's do a quick survey. Hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't done it, please hit the thumbs up button. How many of you have seen the movie Hustlers? How many of you have seen the movie now? Give me a yes or no if you've seen the movie. Tell me if you have seen the movie Hustlers. Have you seen it? Yes or no? Yes or no? And those of you, after you say yes, or after you say whether or not you've seen it, please hit the thumbs up button and also the notification button so you'll be notified. Okay, I'm seeing a lot more no's. I see Ken Melbourne says no. Alfred Moses President Jr. says no. Michael Davis says no, will not watch it. David P says yes, I saw it. Hood Take says I've seen it. Cameron Kelly says yes. Kenneth Stevens says no. Okay, so and I see Duel. Is that you, Duel? There you go, Duel. Thank you, Duel. I love Duel Victory. She holds it down. She's an excellent Black woman. Okay, so here's the thing: when you put out a movie, this is why it's important. This is why it's okay to analyze the film before you've actually seen it, because basically when you talk about a film like this, most people are never going to see the movie. Out of every 1,000 people that see the ad, maybe 50 of those 1,000 are actually going to go actually buy a ticket and go to the movie. Maybe 10% if they're lucky, right? So what people see when they walk in the theater is not nearly as important in terms of, you know, the narrative in many ways as what people see outside the theater. The advertising matters. And I don't know about you guys, but, you know, when I read the prognosis or the layout of the film, what I saw was a story about women who were stripping, who were basically doing a bunch of Bill Cosby's on a bunch of men, doing a bunch of Bill Cosby's about on men. Now I'm not gonna. I know, why do I say that they were doing a Bill Cosby? Well, here's the point. Here's the quick point for those of y'all who got short attention spans. I know we got some Negroes who want you to get to the point in 30 seconds or less. Here's the deal. Some bad men, in order to harm a woman, will sometimes sexually violate the woman, right? Some bad men, there are bad men out there that will rape a woman. We know that rapists are out there. They're never going to go away. It's a terrible thing. If you're a rapist, I don't want anything to do with you. But typically, when a woman violates a man, she does not rape him. She does not pull out her penis and inject it into his vagina, because that would just be bad chemistry. It just wouldn't make any sense. That means you didn't take biology class if you think that can happen. Now, nowadays, now that they're trying to convince us that there are actually 87 different genders instead of just 2, you know, things can happen, right? So you got like Malik Yoba. I like, you know, I remember when Malik said that thing about I like women that have breasts and penises or something crazy, something like that. It just flipped me out. And then he went on the route to try to talk about it. And then the route actually flipped on his ass. They actually went after him about some allegations or something. I'm not going to talk about that today. But, you know, women don't typically rape men. It just does not typically happen. It's happened before. I know everything's happened at some point somewhere, but it doesn't usually happen very often. With that being said, given that we know that a man can, if he has ill intent, violate a woman through sexual assault, let me ask you this question. Give me a yes or no. Is it possible for a woman to violate a man? Is it possible for her to violate him without sex? Let's say she doesn't use sex. Is there any scenario on this earth where a man can have an interaction with a woman and walk away feeling incredibly violated? Maybe to the point where he's been traumatized, maybe to the point where he would want to call the cops, maybe to the point where he feels like she should be in prison, maybe to the point where he's going to need a therapist, maybe to the point where he feels hurt. I see a lot of yeses and I see some no's. John Carter says no. Okay. So you're telling me that in the history of this earth, outside of women who rape men somehow, like maybe Young M.A. the rapper, I'm sure Young M.A. raps about her penis all the time, which is very confusing to most of us. I don't understand that. I don't know if y'all heard the rapper Young M.A. God bless her though. She's a great rapper, brilliant lyricist. I actually helped put her on the map. Go look it up. Go look up Young M.A. and Boyce Watkins. Young M.A. will say that Boyce Watkins posted my video, put me on the map. I was very proud of that because I'm very happy for the young lady. But I say young lady because I didn't know she had a penis, but I hear her rapping about her penis. And I'm like, wow, she's got a hell of an imagination, but God bless her for that. Maybe she knows something I don't know. So if you say no, that a woman cannot violate a man, are you saying that in the history of this world, outside of women with penises like Young M.A.'s, that no woman has ever harmed a man in a significant way, that no woman has ever violated a man to the point where he goes through life feeling that he's been irreparably harmed? I mean, do we think that men have no feelings? Is that what we've established, that men just, you know, that y'all can just do whatever, take all our money, you know, rob us, stick something up our butt while we're sleeping, drug us, whatever, and it's no big deal? That it's okay, it's a joke? Because here's the deal. Here's what the point I'm getting at. If Bill Cosby were a woman, Bill Cosby probably wouldn't rape anybody, right? If Bill Cosby were a woman and he were still, let's say he was still a predator. Let's make the assumption, even though there's no proof and all that, y'all heard the argument on that. That's a problem right there too. It ain't what you know, it should be what you can prove. But let's assume Bill Cosby was actually a predator. If Bill Cosby were a woman, then you're saying that if he were female instead of male, if he had no penis, it would not be possible for him to be a predator. If you believe that a woman can never hurt a man, then you believe that Bill Cosby can never be a predator if you were a woman. I don't think that's true. I argue under the assumption, if you make the assumption that Bill Cosby did some of these things he's being accused of doing, if Bill Cosby were a woman, Bill Cosby would be Cardi B. Cardi B is the female manifestation of a Bill Cosby. Cardi B represents the fact that when women violate you, when ratchet ass, scandalous ass, skank ass women, dirty ass, piece of shit women decide they want to violate a man, they don't go for that. They don't go for his, they don't take the sex. Women can get sex easy. If you halfway damn cute, even if you're ugly, you can find somebody that'll have sex with you in 30 minutes. You get 20 minutes, 10 minutes. They walk in the bathroom with women. Don't have to go and steal sex. Not that anybody has to steal sex, but if somebody was choosing to steal sex, women wouldn't have. If a rapist were a female, he could get as much sex as he wanted without having to take it, right? So if Bill Cosby were a female, he would be Cardi B, because he wouldn't be stealing pussy. He'd be stealing money. He wouldn't be. And the thing about Cardi B that makes this case more interesting, she actually helps the Cosby case significantly, is that Cardi didn't just take the money. Cardi was drugging these men and taking that booty hole. Cardi B was drugging these men and putting them in bed with a transvestite or whatever, or some dude, and letting this dude go to town on their butt. And the guy wakes up and his butt is sore. There's a used condom next to him. All his money's gone. And he don't know what the hell happened. And why do I know this is true? Well, because Cardi confessed to all of this. Cardi talks a lot on Instagram. Before Cardi knew she was going to be famous, she did a lot of videos that she probably has taken down by now. But the internet remembers everything. It keeps everything. So I need to ask you this. Let's do a quick comparison. Bill Cosby is currently in jail right now for allegedly drugging and touching the breast of this very masculine looking woman who says she was traumatized irreparably because he touched her titty. He touched her titty. The poor thing, titty got touched. I'm touching my man titties now, and maybe I'm traumatizing myself. I don't know. Let me see. I don't know. Bill Cosby's in jail. He might die in prison. He's 80-something years old. It's hard to be 80-something. You're already uncomfortable. Now he's got to be uncomfortable in jail. He's in prison right now because he allegedly drugged a lady and touched her boob. Which do you think is worse? To get drugged and have somebody touch your titty, or to have a Cardi B put a drug in your drink, take all of your rent money out of your wallet, and while you're sleeping, let another dude rail away on your ass for hours? Which is worse? Which would you prefer? Which do you think would be the Cardi way or the Cosby way? Which if you had to pick a poison, if you had to pick something, not that you'd ever have to go through any of that. I don't wish none of that on any of y'all. But even my worst enemy, I wouldn't wish none of that on anybody. But which is worse? Getting the titty grab, or having somebody pound away on your butthole while you're sleeping for about 8 hours after they done took all your rent money? Which do you think? Somebody make a choice. You got to pick one. Do you think they're the same? Are they equally traumatic? What do you think? I don't know. I mean, which is worse? You think the breast is worse? Okay. Millionaire Male says grabbing the breast is worse. The Don says the butt is worse. Okay. A-hole. It's Kenneth Anthony Clark. Hell no. Okay. Now, I don't mean to be graphic. I'm not trying to be overly. If my language is traumatizing you, first of all, send your children. Your children should be in bed by now. So, if they ain't in bed yet, put your kids to sleep. Unless you like my daddy. My daddy used to give me the real. My daddy used to let me watch and hear everything because he knew the real world was going to make sure I heard everything. So he had me hear everything while he was around, so he could explain it to me. So here's the point. And and by the way, the Cosby lady got $3 million too. She got $3 million. So which is worse? To be raped while you're asleep by a man you don't know for hours and have somebody take all your money, or to have somebody touch your titty while you're sleeping and then give you $3 million? Hmm. I think I take ass rape for $25, please. That's my answer. That's my response to that question. Um, so here's my point. If Bill Cosby were a woman, assuming Bill Cosby's guilty, that's a big assumption, but let's assume that he's guilty. If Bill Cosby were a woman, he would be Cardi B. So that leads to the second question, which I will ask actually after you guys do this for me. Please hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please do that. Hit the notification bell also so you get notified whenever we go live. This is very important. Here's another thing that was interesting about this movie. I was absolutely intrigued. I would say insulted, but I wasn't insulted because I know how people are, right? I know the vilification of the black man is a very unique thing. They don't do that to anybody else. I was really curious and intrigued as to why they decided to make a movie about the violation of men, like to literally normalize it. And here's what they're doing. What they're doing, this is a standard strategy. Pay attention to this. This is what movies do. This is what Hollywood does when they want to shape your agenda. What they'll do is they'll take the Cosby side of a story and they'll tell the story in a very basic way. he's a predator. He took unsuspecting women who were victims, innocent victims, and he, drugged them and he groped them and did these terrible, disgusting things that only an animal would do. He's an animal. That's all you need to know about him because he's a freaking animal, right? Which might be true, but that's the way the story's told. They get to Cardi B, and the story becomes much more complex. It is, yes, maybe she drugged and robbed and violated men, numerous men, but she was a single mom and she was struggling and it was a recession and she was really a good person and the only reason she did it is because a man did something mean to her, right? So that's what they do in this movie. In this movie, actually, from what I've read in the synopsis of it, they basically said, they basically lay out the framework first. They don't just say, okay, there are these strippers that are robbing and drugging men. What they'll do is they'll show them as innocent, sweet little, good people that you can relate to. And then they go through something horrible, right? Where you're like, well, shit, if I went through that, I would probably do that too. Or my child is sick. There's always a sick baby. I haven't even seen the movie yet, but I bet you anything that one of them has a child that needs clothes or is sick, right? They'll give you a story about maybe a medical condition somebody has, or they lost their job, or there's a recession and and strippers ain't making money like they used to, or whatever. In fact, one of the stories that I picked up on, and I will go watch the movie and I'll give you guys my take once I see it as well. There's a point where one of the ladies is offered, this is an interesting thing, pay attention now. One of the ladies is offered $300 to suck a guy's penis. So he makes the proposal. She says, okay. And she does the job. And then he gives her 3 bills. And instead of giving her 3 $100 bills, he gave her 3 $20 bills. And that was her trigger. That, she felt violated because I sucked your penis and you were supposed to give me money. So therefore you're a bad person. Therefore I have every right. I've been given a license to come back and respond in any way that I see fit, right? But what's interesting though is, think about this, right? You engaged in a trade with a man where you were going to give him sex in exchange for money, and he did not deliver the money. Therefore, you are a victim. Now, what if it had been the other way around? What if they had engaged in a trade where he's getting sex and she's getting money, but instead he got the money, or excuse me, she got the money and he did not get the sex? If he says, well, I didn't get the sex, I'm a victim. We made a deal and you didn't deliver on your end of the deal. Well, he wouldn't be seen as a victim. He would be seen as a predator for even engaging in that transaction. Does anybody follow what I'm saying? That 2 people can get together, a man and a woman, and make a trade of money for sex. And the woman is seen as the victim in that transaction, and the man is seen as the predator in that transaction, when both of them were 2 willing, consenting adults who chose to engage in that trade in the first place. So again, let's lay it out again. He says, hey, give you $300 if you suck my penis. I don't know who asked who. So she's like, okay, I'll suck the penis. She gets to work, does her job, and then he gives her 300. He gives her 3 bills, says, thank you very much. Have a nice day. She looks at it. Oh my God, this is only $60. Oh, and I got to feed my baby and I need to pay my rent and I can't pay my rent now. I'm a victim. Oh my God. And because I'm a victim, I now have a moral license to go back and exploit the hell out of men and destroy them and become a predator, right? And the audience is going to identify with me because they feel sorry for me because I was victimized because I did a $300 blowjob and only got $60 for it, right? But that same transaction, let that same transaction happen where he says, okay, yeah, you suck my penis, I'll give you $300. She says, okay. And she does, or no, better actually scratch that. Let's say instead, she says, well, give me the money first. So he's like, okay, well, here's $300, right? So she takes the $300, and let's say that she sends him, a picture of her lips and says, put this on your penis instead of actually my lips. You told me you wanted my lips on your penis, so here's a picture of my lips. You can put it on your penis. And he's like, no, this isn't right. You're supposed to give me the sex and you didn't. I'm a victim. Therefore, I have a right to go rape and abuse women and violate women because I was victimized. I entered into this transaction and I entered into it honorably and I expected you to give me and you didn't. It's wrong. And I needed my penis sucked because it was very important to me, right? Do you understand what I'm saying? It's very interesting. Nobody would see him that way. Nobody would see that man as a victim. They would see him as a predator. Right? They would say, what were you doing expecting sex in exchange for money? Women are supposed to get money for free. You're supposed to give them things for free. They can ask for you for anything, but you ask them for something like that, then that makes you a predator. But here's what's real. Here's the real part of that. People don't talk about this, but go out to Hollywood. You ever want to see the biggest whorehouse in America? It's called Los Angeles, California. You go to Hollywood and all you got are indecent proposals being made everywhere. You got men that will do that. They will say, hey, look, I can make you a star, but you got to work for it, right? Happens all the time, every day. Some of your biggest celebrities out here that you know and love, that are household names in your house right now, they work their way to the top the hard way. Let's just say that, right? But then here's the other side they don't talk about. There are women. I've seen it. I've seen them. I bumped into them. You don't think I had women try to get close to Boyce and say, hey, I can make you smile today? And, you don't think that I got a little power? I've made movies in LA. I've been out there in California rolling with celebrities. I've done all of that. You don't think that there aren't pretty women who get up close and say, you hook me up, I can hook you up. And you know what that means, right? And here's the thing. And I think for people, whether they want to participate in all that, I'm a libertarian for the most part. I kind of believe you can do what the hell you want, as long as you know the consequences of your decisions. As long as but personally, I believe, smart men, you want to do your best to stay out of trouble. But here's the deal: if you accept that proposal, if you say, sure, okay, girl, let's go do it, let's go get it in. Don't be surprised when she comes back and says, okay, you're making this movie, I should be the star. Like, I'm giving you something. I'm going above and beyond the call of duty for you. You need to be going above and beyond the call of duty for me. You're picking somebody for that role. It better be me. It better not be that woman who's not paying the extra, the penis tax. Right? It better not be her. Right? Like that's what really happens. That's the real world. Right? And in fact, if y'all remember, there was a guy, an agent. Anybody tell me if you remember this? There was an agent in LA, a Jewish dude, old Jewish man, old wrinkled ass white guy, who basically got caught up in the Me Too situation because that's what his whole deal was. That's what he would do. He loved black women. He loved black actresses. And what he would do is he'd bring you in. I know an actress who interacted with him, and here's what she told me he did. She said he took her to all these special places. I think he might have took her to the Oscars. He introduced her to Halle Berry. He took her, did all these things to kind of impress her, like, and then make her go, oh my God, this is my wildest dream, blah, blah. That's why you gotta be careful what you dream about, because people that know your dreams will ultimately control your actions, and sometimes they'll just hover the dream above you and get you run around like a little puppet chasing a dream that ain't never gonna happen. So I believe you should make your own dreams come true. Stop letting people manipulate you with false promises. right? But basically he would dangle the dream in front of them. It was a deliberate strategy. You know, let's go to a restaurant where the bill is $1,200 and I pay the bill, don't even think about it. Let's go to the Grammys or the Oscars or something where you can see all your favorite celebrities and it lives out your wildest dreams since childhood. I'm gonna get somebody on the phone who's a big name, and I'm gonna talk to him like I'm talking to my cousin, and I'm gonna introduce you to him, right? Maybe I'll take you on a flight somewhere or a cruise or something like that where you're gonna really feel the life. And then there's the moment, and this really happened. This is the moment where he sat back and he pulled his penis out. That's literally what she said. He pulled his penis out and he's like, it's easy for you. Just take care of me a couple times a month and I will take care of you. Now, this particular person, you know, she said, no, thank you. I'm gonna walk away. She didn't go file charges. She didn't go scream that she was a victim. She didn't feel that this old wrinkly penis was a threat. You know, he didn't rape her or nothing. He just made an offer, right? And she said, no, thank you. I'm out. But do you really believe that every woman that he met said no to his offer? Do you really believe that every woman that he met said no thank you? Do you think that maybe a couple of them said, you know, it's just 15 minutes out of my day, I can get it in. I've done more for guys who couldn't do nearly as much for my career. I mean, really, seriously, like there, you know, there are the women who are like, look, you know, the women might be like, look, I've sucked the penises of guys who don't even have jobs. So, okay, you know, like really, right? And so, you know, so here's the thing, right? So when I saw this guy and I noticed who some of his clients were, I'm not going to say their names. You can go look it up, look the story, look up who he was represented, and look who he's still buddies with. And that kind of, unfortunately, makes you wonder what happened behind the scenes. I'm not going to, you know, I'm not going to vilify anybody or call anybody out on that, because I don't personally, again, I'm a libertarian. Whatever you did to make it to the top, if you can live with it, then I can live with it. Good luck, as long as you ain't hurt nobody. If you ain't hurt nobody, then it's fine. And I tend to believe that, you know, when there's consent, at that point, I'm not really interested in the conversation. If somebody got something took from them, then that's a problem. So going back to Cardi B wasn't getting consent from these men. These men, they consented to go back to the room with her, right? Because she used her sex appeal to get their attention. They did not consent to being drugged and robbed and raped or violated. If they'd known that was part of the package, they probably would have said no, thank you. So they are no different. So you might want to go in and, you know, and vilify and say, oh, these men deserved it. They set themselves up. They shouldn't have been, you know, they shouldn't have been messing with, you know, with these strippers. They should have been with their wives or whatever. That's fine. But, you know, I would say that instead of doing that, I look at it as do what you want to do. I just want to make sure you get what you signed up for and not something you didn't sign up for. And if they added in something extra that you didn't plan for, that means you were violated. So stop believing the men can't be violated. And the fact that they immortalized these violations and normalized this behavior by making a movie about it. Imagine if they'd made a movie about Bill Cosby drugging and raping women and it became funny. Now, some of y'all saying the movie ain't about Cardi B. Cardi B's name is all over this motherfucking movie. Go look it up. Cardi B's name was used to sell this movie. That was a deliberate strategy. If they really wanted to detach themselves from the allegation that they're seeking to normalize, you know, the victimization of men, then they would not have attached Cardi B to this movie. There's, you know, in fact, I can't even imagine any movie ever being made about men being justified drugging and raping women. I can't even, there's no amount of sympathy you could have for those individuals that would lead you to say, oh, okay, now I understand why he drugged her and raped her. He had to do it. It was a recession. You know, like that's what it is in this movie. It's like a bunch of strippers hit the recession and had a couple of financial problems and somebody hurt their feelings. So now that justified them going back and doing terrible things to other people. And at the end of the day, it's all terrible. It's all terrible. It's not right. Right. And I felt compelled to talk about this because this is all an assault on the black man. This is all connected to the fact that people don't believe the black man has feelings. People don't believe that the black man can ever be violated because they think he's an animal. People believe that the black man can only be the predator and can never be the victim. right? And you know, with, for example, with the Amber Geiger Botham Jean shooting, that shows you that the black man can easily be the victim, and in many cases he is the victim of people that don't have his best interests at heart. You know, so I think that, or false accusations. Black men have been victimized by false accusations on a major level, and I was absolutely stunned. I mean, you talk about just the sheer fucking stupidity out here amongst some of our people. I was flabbergasted when I wrote an article about 3-4 years ago. It was an article basically warning men not to go sleeping around, because there are women out here that will falsely accuse you if they get mad at you. There are women out here that are vindictive. There are women out here that are nastier than most men, that will use every ounce of their advantage over you to go and destroy you. There are women that will literally threaten, like Ezekiel Elliott, who plays for the Dallas Cowboys. He was dating a white girl. I personally haven't done that, but whatever. And the white girl said, she said, "I'm a white girl. I can get you locked up for any. I can ruin your whole career." She said that. She was drunk, so she said it in front of everybody. But if she hadn't said it in front of everybody, nobody would believe him. And I was flabbergasted when I wrote an article just warning brothers, like, hey, let's embrace sexual responsibility instead of going out and sleeping with these women. You don't know these women. These women bringing diseases and shit in your life, can ruin everything, tell a lie on you, whatever. And I had a group of a group of black men, who wrote an open letter to me saying that my article was sexist and ignorant. And they, now mind you, they didn't quote anything. These are supposed to be scholars, and I'm sitting there. One of them was this guy that teaches at Duke. I'm not even gonna say his name because he's an idiot. But this guy literally, I'm like, you're a scholar, bro. You're supposed to provide references. You're supposed to let people think, figure out what their own opinion is going to be. Provide the information. Don't tell them what their opinion is supposed to be. But they literally like, your words were callous and ignorant at best, and and I was just like, but you're saying all these things and you're telling people about my article, but you're not actually quoting anything in my article that supports what you're saying. You're playing these political games that white people taught you how to play, because most of these Negroes were working for white folks. So you're sucking a white man's ass crack so that you can maintain good favor at Duke University or wherever the hell you're teaching, and you're throwing black people under the bus. Shame on you, you nigga. I mean, seriously, I was so mad. I was like, you could have called me brother to brother and said, let's have an open dialogue about this. You could have called me up and said, hey, man, look, I'm jealous of you. I want to be like you. I want to be famous too. Can you help me out? I would have helped you out. You could have called me up and said, hey, man, let's talk this out, Boyce. I have to say I disagree with some of your points. Fine. You could have written a well-researched article stating, citing points, key points in my article. Well, here you say blah, 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 but another point of view is blah, 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 blah. No, you didn't. You played the same damn dirty political tricks that I see used against black people by house Negroes every single day of the week. That was about the most, I have rarely been confronted in such a pathetic way by white people, the way I was confronted by these black people who they put on the front lines because there were other people behind the scenes controlling these Negroes like puppets. And I said, that's why I don't nobody respect the black man, because all y'all Negroes got vaginas. Like, seriously, like, if you really cared about the sake of the black man, you wouldn't come out here with this weird, like we're all a bunch of black feminists. Like, they literally refer to themselves as male feminist scholars or some. I'm like, what is that anyway? I don't understand that. I believe in women's equality. I support women. My woman is a strong woman. I got her back 100% till death do us part. But I don't even know what it means to be a black feminist. Like, how many pussy hairs do I have to grow on my body in order to become a black male feminist? I don't understand what that even means. And also, unfortunately, black feminism has been so tainted by white racist feminism that ultimately some of y'all might as well just call yourselves Klansmen. Just go ahead and put on the white robe, because you're doing more destruction to the black community than any white person can do, because we let y'all in the door because you look like us. It does not mean that we can't have very strong, important conversations about the treatment of women. I've had these just here too. We've talked about this. Like, some of y'all so-called conscious Negroes need to stop dissing black women. Stop calling them bed wenches and all this stuff just because they disagree with you. I don't like that. I think there's other ways you can address the situation. But when these guys were coming at me, I wasn't threatened by it. I was confused by it. I was like, has the world gotten this weird? Like, who are these men and what are they talking about? what are they talking about? I mean, maybe they're gay. Maybe half of them were gay, and they just have an issue with me because so many of them seem to have this hatred toward straight black men. Like you remember, anybody remember that article that was written? I forgot which. I think it was Very Gay Brothers. I mean, sorry, Very Smart Brothers, where they wrote that article, something like straight black men are the white men of the black community, or something like that, right? And so it's just become this like weird thing. And it was weird for me because I've never had an issue against anybody based on who they were having sex with. I've always respected the black woman. Like, I believe black women are amazing. They can do anything. I would never date anything other than a black woman. But some of this stuff is stupid. Some of it's ignorant, And so I think with the whole Cardi B, Bill Cosby thing, just kind of going back to that, we got to just call it for what it is, man. Like, I think, and it's fine. They can make their movie Hustlers. I'm not going to support it financially. I really don't want to support it financially. I mean, I know people are saying you should go see it so you can talk about it in more detail, but I don't want to see it because I see it every day. I see it every day. We're getting hustled every day. I see every day where they are literally trying to create narratives. Pay attention. Read between the lines when you watch a Hollywood movie. They always have a message. They always have an agenda. And if you study the history of Hollywood, I tell my students all the time, read that book, How the Jews Invented Hollywood. Hollywood is kind of a weird, sick place. Hollywood isn't just weird. Hollywood is debaucherous. They have some of the biggest pedophile rings known to man. Like, they get industrial with their shit to the point where I remember Pizzagate. When Pizzagate, anybody remember when Pizzagate came out? At first I was like, oh, that's just a dumb right-wing conspiracy theory, blah, blah, blah. I don't really know. I can't say that for sure. I can't say that Pizzagate is completely like all of it is completely untrue. I really think that there is something there in terms of because I'm like, who are these people raping all these little children? Like, why are all these kids going to Hollywood growing up talking about I was raped when I was 9 and by my agent, my manager, and by the director of the movie? Like it's really like deep stuff. And why are they working so hard to cover it up? Why are they so unwilling to talk about it? Now, pay attention, right? They'll talk all day about Bill Cosby. They'll talk all day about R. Kelly. But I ain't here to defend R. Kelly. God knows that I can't defend R. Kelly. I never liked R. Kelly. Even back in 2003, I didn't understand why black people still supported R. Kelly. But still, it's like you'll talk all day about Bill Cosby. You'll talk all day about R. Kelly. You'll talk all day about Michael Jackson. But you ain't got nothing to say about all these little white kids and black kids, some of them mostly white, who grew up, who were molested in Hollywood. And now they're adults and they're trying to tell their story, but no major media outlet will hear them. Why do you think that is? Why do you think it is? Why do you think it's so hard? Why do you think it's so easy to tell a certain story about a black man, but very hard to tell us that same story about a white man or about people in Hollywood? Why do you think Bill Cosby, the narrative of Cosby on television is he's a predator, he should be in prison, even without any evidence? But the narrative on Cardi B, who is the female Bill Cosby, is she is fine. It's not a big deal. We're going to go make a movie about it. In fact, because we're going to normalize and humanize this behavior so that you will actually root for somebody who is victimizing men. I think that is what's interesting. And that's also why I will tell you guys, I think it's so important that we build our own Black Hollywood. I mean, we have to, I will, I mean, just in terms of plugging things that are out there. I know Mark Harris has a lot of great films. Mark Harris is a really good guy. He's a better director than 99% of these people in Hollywood. Y'all know about Tariq's Hidden Colors and stuff like that. He's doing very well on his own, but there's also others out there. There's a movie called The Melanin Code that was really, really good that I saw. I can't remember the brother's name. I don't have it in front of me. Rick Mathis. I'm working with Rick on a film called Young Moneymakers. And it's a film all about young Black kids making money and building businesses and things like that. We talked about that at the All Black National Convention. And you guys know we actually have Boyce Watkins Films, which is actually going to become Boyce Watkins Entertainment, because actually I've seen so many artists out here that are so talented. And I would love to actually support these artists as they grow and help them grow into a community that can really support them. So I can use you guys' help on this. If you guys will financially support some of these projects, the ones that you like, I'll go out and I can go make it happen. I'll go pull the money together and we'll go support artists, so we put artists on. It was an accident that I put Young M.A. out there. I didn't really mean to. I just put her on my Facebook page and made a commentary about her rap. I said she's really talented, but it kind of concerns me that so many of our kids are rapping like serial killers. And Young M.A. is a complex person. She's been through a lot. She's been traumatized. You could easily see that. Her story didn't surprise me. The stories are very similar, right? Between her, Bobby Shmurda, Tekashi 6ix9ine, just all these New York rappers that come out and they become a manifestation of their experiences, right? So Young M.A., I think, thought she saw me as an enemy, but I wasn't really an enemy. I was more like that old uncle who kind of says, like, what are you doing? Like, think about what you're doing. Let's think about this first before you go out here and create a bunch of other young people in your image. I don't really think that, you should do that. So anyway, actually, you're asking, how do you support the projects? Well, I know I know Rick has a GoFundMe account for the Young Moneymakers Project. You can go to I think it's weyoungmoneymakers.com. I know that the hashtag is weyoungmoneymakers, and actually he's looking for people to submit information and videos about their children building businesses that they can possibly include in the movie. So if you use the hashtag weyoungmoneymakers, we young moneymakers, he can actually get your child in the film, or you can just check the hashtag out and just support, like even hitting the like button and sharing and pushing. Like I know that corporations with just, me and my team of 8 or 9 people, we can do certain things. We can do a lot. But a corporation that has, there's 500,000 people subscribed to my 2 YouTube channels. A corporation with 500,000 people all working in the same direction can do quite a bit, but and so the reason I talk to you guys a lot and I talk to you guys about everything is because, number one, I want you to really look me in my eyes, hear my voice, and know exactly who I am and like exactly what I do and what I believe and why I'm doing it, and then the other thing is I want you to hopefully have enough confidence and comfort to say, okay, I want to be a part of this. I want you to feel empowered to say, I'm not just going to sit back and watch this dude go out here and make a fool out of himself. I'm gonna go out there with him. We're gonna go out here and make this thing happen, because I believe working together we can do something, absolutely historical. And in fact, thank you, Oliver, for your donation. I appreciate that. He says thank you, and Claude, for everything. Yeah, Dr. Anderson, I think he's not feeling well, so I'm going to check in on him. I think I'll have him back on Thursday, but I'm going to see if I can get him in here. Hopefully he's okay. He'll feel up to it, but he's older, so sometimes he has weeks where he can't do stuff. But also, if somebody asked me to talk about the Stacey Dash situation, I just think Stacey Dash is a crazy white woman. That's it. There's not much else to say about about any of it. I mean, Stacey is just this crazy white lady. She's black, but come on, like y'all knew since Clueless that she wasn't right. So I wasn't surprised to see it looked like she was married to a white man. And Stacey Dash does not seem like the kind of person that I would want to be associated with on any level. And actually, her cousin Dame Dash, Dame came on my channel actually and talked about Stacey, and he said she was a coon, And so I don't have much to say about Stacey Dash. I think maybe for you guys, in terms of seeing that, I think it really speaks a lot to being cautious about sort of chasing the bright, shiny object when it comes to relationships, like that girl, being with that woman because you think she's fine as hell or whatever. Some of these fine ass women are crazy. Like some of these fine ass women will like drag you down with them, or same thing with men. Like I've known women who've died because they chose the wrong man. They chose some crappy man, and and they weren't able to do anything in their lives and achieve anything because they ended up, sort of chasing behind some dude that did have their best interests at heart. So anyway, I'm gonna go, guys. I hope you guys have a good day. Just make good decisions in your life, and I wish you all the very, very best. And I hope that the message was taken in a spirit that it was intended. Boyce always finds a way to slander Mr. Cosby. Shut up, Darnell. I ain't slandering no Bill Cosby. I've stood up for that dude big time. But I've been objective though. I told y'all, Bill Cosby. I spoke about Bill Cosby's issues back in 2004, when the way he approached the just the black community in general. I mean, what he was saying about the black community back then was a problem, and I felt that Cosby really got a little bit arrogant. I think Cosby does something I don't understand. I really will argue that there's a danger when a Negro starts getting too comfortable in white America. When you start getting too comfortable around white folks, or you dating them and you hanging out with them and you feel like you're buddies with them, doesn't mean that they're all bad people. I don't believe that. Most white people I know are fine. They're wonderful people. But, when you're black, there's just something there where, if things go wrong for you, watch how quick those people abandon you. And I feel that Cosby, he did not protect himself or protect his family by making good decisions when it came to women, when it came to his personal life, when it came to his business choices, all these things. And I just even think, like, for example, like, really, you'll never hear a story about me drugging and assaulting a white woman, because I've never, ever in my life that I can recall ever once been in a hotel room alone with a white female. It does not mean that I hate white people. I'm not into hating anybody. It does not mean that, that I, just, that I'm mad at anybody. It just means, like, I'm not even going to be in that situation where you can even ask that question or make that accusation. I know a guy who swears up and down. Now, is this true or not? I don't know. But I know a guy who swears up and down to me that he actually was sitting with a young lady in his office, and her parents were in the next room, and the girl accused him of raping him while her parents were in the next room, and she was an underage girl. And he ended up, having to register as a sex offender because they put him in jail, and he was in jail and could not afford, all the legal fees and everything else. And they just said, look, just register as a sex offender and we'll let you go. And so he's been a registered sex offender. Now, is that true? I don't know. I mean, people tell you things and you don't know if it's true or not, but it's not impossible. It's not impossible, because remember, you live in America. The fact that you live in America, I think you should never forget what country you're in. I think that black people, I think we get lulled to sleep by people telling us that everything's changed, that, these things only happened in the past, that this was not, this isn't something that happens anymore. And that's when you get caught up. That's when you don't look around and you don't realize, like, if you look at the statistics, the black men are still getting hemmed up, in these situations. Like, black men are the ones going down. And so, this is still America. You don't think that 1945 America is dramatically different from 2019 America. They're different in some ways, but they're not dramatically different. And I think a lot of Negroes don't get that. They really get to the point where they start looking at people like me and thinking we're old fashioned, or maybe calling us reverse racist, or, or you're talking about something that isn't true anymore. Like, I actually met a kid who literally said that. This kid told me, he said, he came to my event, and he was a 19, 20-year-old kid from Stanford. I'll never forget this guy. And he followed me around, like, really followed me around, like, everywhere. He was constantly talking to me. And it's cool. Like, I love it. I like talking to young people, right? But I thought it was weird. I was like, wow, he's really following me. Like, he's following to the elevator, to the bathroom, everywhere. And basically the reason he was doing that was because I think he felt safe in that space. Because he said, when I was in high school, I didn't believe people like you. I didn't listen to people like you. He said, I had a lot of white friends. I thought you were a racist. I had a white girlfriend, and everything was great. I was a star athlete. I was a straight A student. I was on my way to Stanford, and everything was great. He said, then what happened was he got accused of sexual assault. One of the white girls that he was messing with accused him of raping her. And he said, of course, his story, nobody who rapes anybody is ever going to say, I did it, right? Most of the time they're not. So, I heard him, and he said, I didn't do it. And there was no proof or evidence. And he said, but despite all of that, I was stunned by the fact that all my white friends abandoned me without even hearing my side of the story. That basically, because I was accused, they started treating me like a rapist without me having any proof that I'd actually raped anybody. And he said that was very traumatizing. He said, eventually I was exonerated and everything was fine, because it turned out the girl had a significant mental illness. And he said that all through that whole time, this was interesting. He said that whole time when I was being accused of rape, the only people that stood by me were the black women that were in our group. He said there were black women in the group who know how people lie. They know about Becky's lies, and they stood by him when everybody else, all his white friends, abandoned him. And I said, well, that's the way it's always been. I said the black woman has always stood by the black man when nobody else would. And that's why I think we should honor the black woman. I think that, you know, when you grow up and you get older and you become successful and you start making money, you should consider the black woman to be a premium. The black woman should be, there are some tough black women to deal with. There's some, you know, y'all know this truth. Y'all, yeah, come on. We ain't gonna pretend like every black woman's a queen, every black woman's perfect. But it's like, okay, keep looking. You know, if the one that you meet isn't quite right, find another one. Find another one. It's like shopping at black-owned businesses. Why would you stop supporting black businesses because you had one business that did you dirty, right? Keep looking until you find one that you like. You know, and so ultimately, you know, he said he went to Stanford, and he said when he was there, he tried to connect with the other black students by talking about his experience. So he would go to the black student, you know, meetings or whatever, Black Student Union, and he started talking about how traumatized he was from being falsely accused. You know, that he was, you know, possibly going to prison and all these other things as a result of this false accusation. And he said, I said, what did they say? He said, they told me to shut up. He said, they told me that I have straight black male privilege and that I have no right to speak. And he said, I couldn't believe it because I thought I was around other people like me. And here they're talking to me like, you know, like I have no right to say anything, like my trauma doesn't matter. And I said, that's exactly right. I said, that's because white liberals, those people in the Democratic Party that you love so much, that we're taught to love so much, they don't love you. They don't love the black man. They don't love men in general, but they really hate the black man. They see the black man as a predator. And so basically what they've done is they use universities as a platform for social engineering. They use universities as ground zero for shaping the thinking of society. Right. So that's why all the LGBT stuff is out front. That's why, you know, things like the Me Too movement go so far. That's why, you know, like Title IX has on campuses has changed to the point where when you're accused of a crime, they don't even investigate hardly. They just go ahead and treat you like you're guilty until they find out that you're not guilty. And I said, you know, so this is all sort of part of a system. Like you have Title IX is where for the sake of so-called gender equality, if your son goes to college and he gets accused of raping someone, it won't matter. They're probably going to take him out of school, or he will be punished significantly and be treated like a rapist until they find out that he didn't do it. And this happened with Quintez Cephas. Quintez Cephas is a star wide receiver at University of Wisconsin. And Quintez Cephas, God bless him, this brother's back on the field now. But a year ago, he had two white girls that invited him to their apartment for a threesome. They went to the apartment for a threesome. Sorry, it was his place. And they all got together, all had sex, and everything was fine. The video surveillance showed that the girls were chill. They were cool with him. They hugged him when they left. And then the next day they were saying, well, he raped us because we were drunk. Like they literally said, well, because we had been drinking, we couldn't consent. But I was like, but he had been drinking too. So does that mean you raped him too? Like I don't understand this. And so Quintez they put him on trial for rape. They arrested him. They were trying to boot him out of school. And Quintez basically said, I didn't rape anybody. I'm not going to walk around with my head down. I'm going to walk around with my head held high because I am not a rapist. You're not going to treat me like one. And he actually filed suit against the University of Wisconsin. They're going to pay money for this. But, you know, he lost. They took him off the football field, kicked him off the team immediately. We're trying to put him out of school and we're trying to put him in jail. All these things. So you're losing. So you've dedicated your life to sports. You lost that. You're in college. You lost that. Your freedom. You're about to lose that. All of this and this trauma that these men are being put through, you know, like Albert Wilson, he wasn't so lucky. Albert Wilson was a college student where he actually got 12 years in prison. There's no evidence that he actually had any sort of intercourse with this girl, that he put any part of his body in any hole in her body. They kissed. They went to his apartment for 5 minutes. Go look it up. Go look up the hashtag Free Albert Wilson. Look, I think it's freealbertwilson.com. Albert, from what I have read, and I've read as much as I could, and I've talked to Albert's best friend on the phone. Albert did not even get alone with this girl for more than 5 minutes. All he did was kiss her, and the girl wanted to have sex with him, and he said no. Because his boy hit him up and said, where are you at? He said, I'll be right back. So he chose not to have sex with the girl. Albert says the girl was mad that I wouldn't sleep with her. The only thing they saw had was saliva on her chest from the kiss. And last time I checked, I didn't know that a kiss was something that you should get 12 years in prison for. And there's no evidence that it was a non-consensual kiss. But even a non-consensual kiss, I'm sorry, get out of here with that dumb shit. 12 years in prison for you ruining a young man's life, register him as a sex offender till the day he dies, till he's an old man. Are you serious right now? Are you kidding right now? And so the fact that there are people out there that think that this is normal, that think that this is okay, tells you that you ain't got no friends, especially if you're a black man. You ain't got no damn friends. The fact that these Democrats, these damn Democrats, I ain't voting for no Republicans. I'm not no Republican. I'm sorry. But, the fact that these damn Democrats expect my black ass to get up and go vote for them, and y'all supporting bullshit like this, fuck you. I'm not voting for my own extermination. Maybe 80-90% of all black people are dumb enough to fall for your bullshit. I'm not falling for none of that because I don't see anything that you guys are doing that's helping people like me. The fact that you would support any of that and think that's okay means I'm not participating in any of that. You are not. You're not. I was not born yesterday. I got more education than 99.9% of all white people I've ever met. And one thing my education showed me was discernment and the ability to know when I'm about to be fucked. And I'm not going to sign up for the fucking, I don't care how many times you tell me your ancestors died for you to vote. I don't care. If you don't vote, you don't count. I don't care. We got to get Trump out of office. I don't care. Like, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I'm sorry, I don't care. You're killing black men. Like, I don't care. Like you're voting for our extermination. I don't care. You're supporting the Adolf Hitlers in our community that want to take us out. I don't care. I'm not voting for you ever until you get the bullshit off the agenda. If you get rid of the bullshit, then we can talk. But as long as you keep doing that, then I'm gonna keep doing this. I'm not telling nobody what to do. I'm not telling anybody. Brian, Resilience, Millionaire Male, Todd Wilson, Brian Wright, Hannah. I'm not telling none of y'all what to do. Do whatever pleases you. Do whatever makes you happy. Just know when you show up to the polls, you're not gonna bump into me at a voting booth because I ain't voting for shit that's gonna support my extermination. I'm just not going to do it until you come back with some proposals that make sense. I'm all for the protection of women. I'm all for doing the right thing. I'm all for supporting victims' rights. I'm all for fairness and equity toward. I ain't never go ask my woman. I ain't run right here talking about, I'm King Kong. I'm the man. Unga bunga. You woman. You had no rights in this house. Now she would smack me upside my head. We don't live like that. That's not what we do. We grew up with matriarchal experiences as black men. We know the importance of Big Mama and the strength of the black mother and the black woman and all that. Like those of us who got some sense, we understand that oppressing our women is not healthy for any of us, right? Mentally or physically, because they will kill us if we do. But I'm not supporting this Becky stuff. This whole I can literally come back. You're really telling me that somebody's got the privilege where they can, this is white privilege like a motherfucker, that you can literally come back 8 years later and say he touched my ass and get like $2 million. Like, I wish I need that privilege. I need that. I got some people I hate from back in the day that I can't stand, that I'm pissed off at. I wish, wouldn't it be great? Think about this. Imagine how great it would be if you could pick some ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend from like 15 years ago who did you dirty. Because some of y'all been done dirty. I know I have been done dirty. Like, raise your hand. Tell me if you've been done dirty by somebody. Where literally, if there was a court of love, if breaking hearts was a crime, they would have got a life sentence. They would have got the death penalty up in that motherfucker, and you would have been the one happy to push the button. I don't know about y'all, but I felt that way even as a man, because y'all know men, our hearts, get broken just like women's hearts get broken. My heart has been broken more times than I can count. So how nice it would be. Can you imagine how great it would be if my black ass could go out and get on Twitter and find some ex I have who's doing really well. I'm not gonna go after the broke ones. The broke ones can't do shit for me. I'm gonna go after the richest, most successful ex I have. Tell a story that can't be verified with any factual data, eyewitness testimony, physical evidence, nothing, police reports, none of that. And then go sit and cry next to fucking Gloria Allred and get a check for $2 million. Just to get rid of the inconvenience. Can you imagine that? I mean, that's some pretty cool privilege to have. I think we should lay that out there to really understand how stupid this white supremacist thing really is, how stupid this stuff really is. Because sometimes you don't think of it like that. Like, y'all used to like black people kind of getting the bottom of the barrel, getting kicked in the head, kind of being the last ones, in every situation. But I think you really need to kind of think about that. Think about how crazy that is. and then decide where you stand and protect your sons. You got to protect your family. So anyway, I'm going to stop talking. Y'all know how I get. I just start, things come to mind, and I just do a stream of consciousness. So I'm done talking now. I love you guys. I love you freely, Renee, Adrian, Stephen Knight, Erica Williams. I see you in here. Write a few books. Get a Netflix special. That's what I'm talking about. Shoot, I got an ex-girlfriend. I would like to do a Surviving R. Kelly documentary on her ass. Oh, in fact, with Surviving R. Kelly, I don't know if you guys were here when I was talking about this, but I would love for them. That was made by a lady named Dream Hampton. Let me just say this. As a person who gets to hear conversations, I get to go places where celebrities are and stuff. I don't really want to be a celebrity. I don't really like to be around it all that much. But every now and then I get invited to places, because people know I my image gets out there a little bit. I guess my face gets out there. I would love for them to do an expose on Dream Hampton. I would be thrilled to see them lay her out and really talk about all the shit that people have accused her of over the years. Dream Hampton is a lady who has quite the past. I'll just say that, to the point where I'm not one who even knows her personally. I just know her because of her reputation, because people have told me stories about her. And I just kind of think it was fascinating to watch, I would say the pot called the kettle black, but that almost sounds racist. But to watch the Samsung call the iPhone a phone, you know what I mean? Like it was like, is she really the one who did this documentary? And that's what happens. You have some people that are put into protected spaces where they're not going to be scrutinized, and there's some people who are put in spaces where the light is flashed on every blemish of their lives, every mistake they made. So I think that's interesting. Adrian says, I emailed manager@boycewatkins.com, but no response. Please check out Q Bounty, which is a site which allows you to get super chats while not live. Would love to join a Black-owned business. Okay, that's good. Well, you know what? I'm going to screenshot your comment, and I'm going to send that to my manager right now. Her name is Michelle, and she needs to see that. So I'm going to send this to her. And I apologize that no one responded to your message. Another way you guys can reach out to people on my team is if you go to theblackbusinessschool.com, they know how to get in touch with my manager. But also, theblackbusinessschool.com is a good place to talk to somebody if you want advice on how to, build out your family wealth plan and all that good stuff. Anyway, let me see. Can you give a link to donate to the film? I don't have a link to donate to the film. I'll find that link. But if you want to support, I'd rather give you something for your money. Donations are nice. If you want to actually donate, if you want to be a patron, you can actually go to give me a second here. IntelligentBlackPeople.com. That's IntelligentBlackPeople.com. If you go to IntelligentBlackPeople.com, you can actually become a patron and do a monthly donation, and that does help a lot. So feel free to do that. That's IntelligentBlackPeople.com. They using my name for clickbait, says Cardi B. Michael Jenkins wrote that. Yeah, absolutely. Clickbait is important because if you don't have clickbait, then people won't click on the video. The difference is that when I might use clickbait, but I give you substance. I'm not bait. Bait is only a derogatory term if it's used to bait you into something that's not quality, right? I'm a PhD, a college professor. I've been teaching college students for 25 years. So there's literally very little you're going to hear on this platform that you're just going to get anywhere else. Like, you're not going to hear people like me on mainstream media and all that. I'm not afraid to say that I'm smarter than 99% of them. It doesn't mean that I'm always right. Doesn't mean I know all the answers, but it does mean that I have analytical tools and abilities that you would not believe. So yeah, is Cardi's name clickbait? I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't have put her name in there if she wasn't relevant to the conversation. But at the same time, yeah, if you do a video, just for those of you who have YouTube channels or write articles, don't write a great article and put a shitty title on it, because then nobody will read it and then you'll be wasting your time. So when I do videos, actually, I think about the title I want to put. I make sure it's accurate and concise. I make sure it's going to index well with the keywords. I also make sure that it's something that people are going to see. They're going to see the image, they're going to see the title, and they're going to say, I'd like to check this out. So there you go. So the title clickbait. Think about this. If you don't get people interested in what you're talking about, then you're wasting your time, because nobody's going to hear you. So there you go. Freely Renee says, link please. Actually, if you just go to intelligentblackpeople.com, you can get there. But what I'll do is I'll give you a link. because she really wants a link, and I appreciate you for wanting the link. So let me see if I can type it in. I'll actually cut and paste the link in here for you. All right, and actually it links to the Patreon account. So here you go. So here's the link. It's right here. There you go. So there's your link, sister. Let me see. I'm gonna look to see if you got a couple more questions. Respect your intelligence, transparency, and fucking bravery. Thank you, Brian. Right? It's not. You know what? Let me say this to you, Brian. It doesn't take bravery to do what I do. It does not take bravery to do what I do. Let me give you an example. How many veterans we got in the room? If you are a veteran of the U.S. military or you are currently in the military, say something in the chat, and I bet a lot of people are going to respond. Say something in the chat if you are serving your country as a soldier or you have served as a soldier. Simone, Monty, now I sure do respect your blackness, your leadership, man. I watch you every day. That's cool. Thank you. The Don I, NVS plans. I'm in the government. Impal, Army vet. Yeah. See, when I think about what bravery really looks like, I think about people like you. Honestly, this is just real talk. Bravery is knowing that, that you're putting your life on the line, to defend this country. That's why you'll never see me disrespecting soldiers, and even good police officers. I know a lot of cops that are not bad people. I think the system's corrupt. I think there are bad cops, but I don't believe every cop is a bad person. That's bravery. That's what takes guts. Knowing that somebody might, a cap in your ass, like you might go down and you'll come home in a body bag. That's bravery to me. Talking is not bravery. It's easy for me because I feel comfortable with my intellect. I feel comfortable with who I am as a person. I know that everything that I'm saying to you comes from a good place. Like I really want to help out. Like I really want to do the right thing. I'm not trying to manipulate you into something that's not beneficial, to the community. And so when you do that, you have truth on your side. You're able to, you feel comfortable debating anybody on anything. It doesn't take bravery to do it. It's like Michael Jordan going on the basketball court. It doesn't take bravery for him to go out there because he's a good player, right? I'm a good player, right? So that's easy for me. It doesn't take bravery. So I'm not a brave person, and at least not for that. At best, I would say I'm focused. I'm consistent. I'm solid. I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to waver, and because I believe that's what a black man is supposed to be. A black man's not supposed to be wiffle waffling and wavering and being scared and breaking down and being a punk. Like, don't be scared over something there ain't no reason to be scared about. What the fuck? Who cares what, a bunch of little whiny ass, bitchy ass wimps say on the internet? So what? I'm almost 50 years old, man. Ain't nobody worried about that stuff. I don't need you to tell me I'm a good person. At the end of the day, we got to figure out the truth in this stuff. And my goal is to kind of say, that's not right. That's not right. Let me make sure I use my platform to give a perspective that differs from the bullshit that's being fed to people on mainstream media. It should be criminal. These people should be in jail for the way they are manipulating the public, for the lies that they tell in the media. All of that. Like it's literally criminal. So my argument is, I think that as a people, if we come together and we form, our own media, form our, make our own movies and our own TV shows. Like a lot of you guys watch this podcast when you could be watching something else. You could be watching Empire, or you could be watching reality TV, but you're here, you're watching this. This is black media. This is part of that process, right? And so that's what I believe in. That's what we do. So thank you, Alex. He says, I have some intelligent black artwork for you to hang in your background. I would like to actually have some intelligent black artwork. So if you want to email manager@boycewatkins.com, find out if she can give you a place where you can send it. I'd love to check out your art, and I'll give you a shout on that. All right, I'm out of here, guys. Please hit the thumbs up button, share, and subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. If you want to get also other notifications when we go live, you can text the word Boyce to 31996. Just text Boyce to 31996. And also, don't forget, I'll be in New York. We're going to do a day-long investing summit in New York City on October 27th. You can go to drboycenewyork.com. That's drboycenewyork.com. We're going to add something new. It's already amazing, but we're going to add elevator pitch competitions where everybody can do an elevator pitch And in that room, you will have people that will be ready and willing to partner with you or invest in your business. So it's also a good place to go if you want to let other investors know about your business. I will show you how to create economies right there in that room, as well as everything you want to know about investing in the stock market. It is so much fun. It's like a family gathering, and you guys are going to love it. I swear you're going to love it. And if you don't love it, we'll give you your money back. That's how confident we are. So feel free. If you don't live in New York, fly in. You'll love it. New York is great. So, and Alicia will be there, so you can meet me and Alicia as well. All right, guys. So take care. Have a good day. Love you guys. See you soon. Peace.